Howdy YouTube, today we're taking a look at what is probably my favourite ever Dragon Ball Z figure, and that's of course the Dragon Ball Z Irwin Frieza. Without going into too much detail, as a kid there was one particular Dragon Ball Z figure I always wanted and was never able to find, and that of course was this guy. I was able to pick this up from eBay for a pretty decent price, especially considering Dragon Ball Z figures tend to be a lot more expensive. Especially lately, the prices are really ridiculous for some figures. This one, of course, is an Energy Blast figure, but the main reason I like it is because it is the third version of Frieza. That really cool, almost alien-based design, which I really loved as a kid, and was actually pretty rare to find as a figure. Irwin did some great figures as part of the Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z line, and eventually when it was picked up by Jakks, they did redo some figures and repaint others. This was one that never got another release, so makes this pretty valuable and pretty hard to come by. Now, in terms of packaging, he comes in the old school style Irwin based packaging. That of course was typically a bigger bubble plastic section with the Dragon Ball Z card at the back there. Nice shot of Frieza firing his Energy Blast at the bottom. The Dragon Ball Z logo, of course. Very excited to get this opened up out of packaging and hopefully give you guys a cool review. And taking a look at the back of the packaging, we see the other figures in the set. Of course, we've got Imperfect Cell, another really cool figure, Super Saiyan Trunks, Frieza, Gohan, and Krillin. Pretty decent wave of figures, certainly as a kid. These were always really cool to get, just so that you could basically bash around your other figures. So very excited to get this opened up. The Trunks I ended up selling that along with the Gohan and the Krillin. The Imperfect Cell I've always wanted to pick up as well. That's another hard one to come by, but certainly a really cool looking figure. So let's get Frieza opened up and out of packaging. Okay, and here we have Frieza opened up and out of packaging. And as you can see, being one of the Irwin figures, there is quite a number of issues to him. I'll start by taking a look at the accessories. He comes, of course, with his semi-destroyed tail. Which has some nice detailing on it, certainly for an early 2000s, late 90s figure, it's not too bad. Now, in terms of the actual figure itself, I'll bring it forward so you guys can see. I think Irwin did a decent job in capturing the alien form of Frieza. Certainly, at least that monkey type face, almost. I think they did quite a good job on that part of the figure. As you can see, the elongated head there. Some people love it, some people hate it. I was a big fan of this particular design. I think maybe because as a kid watching the Alien movies and then seeing this kind of design just really appealed to me. Now, in terms of articulation, he's got a swivel head, swivel arms, swivel legs, and that's it. So very limited articulation, much the same as a lot of the other Dragon Ball Z, Jakks and Irwin type figures, which was always a big shame because it would have been very easy to include a ball joint or even some leg articulation, which just would have improved the figure enormously. But still not too bad. The other problem with a lot of the Jakks and Irwin figures is that over time sun damage tends to fade away the paint, and you start getting a yellowing effect on the figure, which is a real downside. Now, I guess the gimmick with this particular figure is the Energy Blast. So all you do is you basically just take the energy ball, and I don't know how well this is going to work, because it looks like it's struggling as is at the moment. And you basically have to stick that in like so. Then you aim it. And there's a little button on the bottom there, and there you go. So nothing too super exciting, a little lackluster if I'm honest. But I suppose as a kid, which is what these were built for, it's not too bad. It's a shame that we never got a really good collectible version of this Frieza, just because I know there are a lot of fans out there. And it's a shame we never got like a high quality type Dragon Ball Z figure. Now, in terms of scale, he fits in reasonably with the other Irwin figures, for example, the Goku, Raditz, and Vegeta. And the main reason for that is that because his knees are bent, I guess it compensates for the height that he would normally have. However, when you compare him to the Jakks figures such as the Raccoon and Captain Ginyu, you can see they're significantly larger, and the Frieza doesn't really fit in. So that's one thing just to keep in mind if you're going to pick this guy up. I'm such a big fan of Frieza in this particular design that I don't mind having him. Otherwise, there are some other statues and things that are probably much more detailed and will probably fit better. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this review on the Irwin Dragon Ball Z Energy Blast Frieza.